感心したわ。
So my goal with TBATE is to always try and do my best to review it from somebody who's watching this for the first time. As you guys know, and if you didn't because you clicked on episode 11 for your first time visiting the channel, I do my best for like 98% of all the anime I cover. I'm anime only. I very rarely cover an anime that I'm intimately familiar with. That's the same reason why I didn't cover Solo Leveling when it came out, is because A, I wanted to experience it with the wife, but then B, I already knew all the story and the after story, and I didn't want to review it because I know everything that's going to happen. But with TBATE, I was like, this is such a unique isekai story that I really wanted to cover because I really am passionate. I really love it. Now, with that being said, if I were to remove the knowledge I have from this show, from the manga web novel, they're not adapting it one for one. They're messing with the timelines and the stories and stuff. Like for this example, Arthur should have met the principal or the director of the academy. He should have met her while they were out with Lilia or whatever her name is, when they were getting like the little gemstone rings and they were out shopping. Really, the story wasn't about that girl. It was really about Arthur battling with the principal for the first time. And she was like a minor role, but instead they decided to dedicate a whole episode to her, and then they put the principal, and they made the principal's interaction a minor role here, which is, again, a very weird thing to do. The battle here I thought was fine, but it was more bombastic in the web novel. But I won't really comment on that. What I will comment on is this episode, again, if I put myself in the shoes of like, I don't know anything about the story, or I'm just participating and being a viewer based off of what the show's given me. This was a nothing burger of an episode. Arthur goes in and he fights the principal. He makes some claim that I'm going to be valuable in 3 years. You're going to allow me here. Principal goes, okay, buddy. And then he goes home and he tells his family as an 8-year-old. Okay, I want to mind you that. Like, my son is 8, okay? And when I think about him, he's a baby. He's only been alive for 8 years. He's a tiny little baby. That's what Arthur is right now. He's a little baby who's only been around. He's only been breathing for 8 years, okay? And he goes and dictates to his family, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to be an adventurer now, even though that he just got home. So he's been apart from them for 3 years, and he was in the elf village, the elf country, whatever. And he's now just made it home for like a couple of months, like a month or so. He spends a very small majority of time with his actual family. And then he's like, I'm going to go be an adventurer. I'm going to go explore the world and do what you guys did. Okay, that is fine. But you're 8, and his parents really should be like, oh no, he still has so much, it should be, you're 8. So no, because you can't imagine like someone's like itty bitty, like 3'11". You're like, oh yeah, you're going to go explore the world. That's totally fine with me. No, you should go to school. And like, even in this world, there's school. Like, you should go to, like, you're 8, buddy. So no. So again, that's just a silly thing to me. They allow him though, and they're like, okay, well, someone in the adventure party is gonna go. So who's gonna go? The girl who's had a hard-on for him since he was 5, which that's a whole weird thing. But she's gonna be his protector. So that's gonna be somebody he gets close to. And I guess we're gonna have to view as like a potential romantic partner. Again, I'm trying to act like I don't know anything about anything. We're gonna have to view it as like, oh, that's his potential romantic partner. But it's weird because again, he's 8, and at the end of the episode, he turned 9. Not much bigger. 8 and 9 is very like, you're a baby. You're very tiny. So he goes out. He's gonna be an adventurer, whatever. He finds his sword. Because Sylphie has him find his sword, which is like a lightsaber. So he finds this lightsaber thing and he practices. And now he's going to go out and explore. So he says peace out to his family once again. He talked about how much family matters and how much he wants to be with them. But then he's like, peace. I'll talk to you once a month. Maybe, peace. And then he's going to have like a 3-year time skip before he starts school. When he inevitably goes and starts school at 11 or 12, the standard age to start school. And then his school adventure is going to start. So the positive is we're going to get a time skip till he's like, not a teen, but close to a teen. Because we're just going to sprint through all of his adventure stuff, more than likely. And he's going to probably become some kind of like, A rank, S rank adventurer. They constantly show his mask, that he wears a mask in the ED. So he's probably going to be the mask stuff. We'll probably get his adventuring starting next episode. And then we got announced a core 2, or what they're calling a season 2. So then we'll probably get that arc. Like, we'll probably get half, if not the majority of next season, him being an adventurer, which they really shouldn't spend too much time on it. But we'll probably get half of the season being him an adventurer, and then half the season him starting school. next season. Again, core 2, but they're calling it season 2, which is just a continuation of season 1. So at this point, they're just kind of biding time until the next season starts, which is why this one felt like a nothing burger, and it was a really boring episode. So overall, I think this episode was a 5 out of 10. It wasn't very good. Not a lot here, and just a bunch of silly stuff. If you apply any amount of logic, why would parents allow their child who's been missing to then leave again? All this, mind you, at 8 years old, which it's not like they're sending him, because they're going to go assign him to be X, Y, or Z. No, he's doing this of his own volition, and they're going like, okay. So, yeah. Anyways, TBATE, once again, is what it is. Let me know what you guys feel in the comments below. Hopefully next season they get a new studio. I know they won't. It's going to continue to be Studio 𝐜𝐴𝐶, but we'll make the best out of it. But season 2 is around the corner, and we have 1 episode left of this season. All right, I'll see you guys next week for episode 12. Hopefully it's better. Peace.